Hey there, you're with James Rosowsky from Built Prefab in Kelowna, British Columbia. We're here today to do a tour of a home that we're offering this year in our line of homes called Built World 2020. And the house is the Spring, a 952 square foot, 2-bedroom, 1-bath home. So I'm just here on our website, www.builtprefab.com, just to let you know that we build premium prefab modular homes. We're a full-service design and manufacture install company, and we focus on premium single-family and multifamily buildings. We strive to design and build homes that are high quality, sustainable, healthy, and durable. So we're not really going to be too long on here. What I'm going to do, though, is suggest that if you're interested in learning more about this house or any house that we've got on this YouTube channel, you just jump onto our website and download our design catalog. So it's got floor plans and renderings, more information about the buildings. And then, of course, we're going to email you this buyer's guide, which sets out how we do our designs, the process for buying a unit and some of the timelines. So really what we're going to do is base this whole discussion around this guide today. So we're going to focus on what's called the Spring. And I guess if I look here, there it is. Oh, what a great shot. That's the roof we'll be looking at. But the way we're going to do it is running through this process. So enough with the PDFs, because fortunately we're in full 3D here, and we're going to take you through all of this. So let's just flip around to a view of the home. And this home is sitting in what we call Built World 2020, which is a little world with all of our homes in it. And it allows you to see, what these houses look like with some backdrop to them, and to get some perspective on lighting. And we can do shading too. I haven't done a whole lot of that in these videos, but it's quite easy. Now, what we also get to do is see what it looks like from the inside out, which is obviously hugely important with any house. But, I realize that many of the people that are our customers are nowhere near where we're at. So in order to get a better perspective and being online, we just thought these videos would really answer a lot of your questions. So nonetheless, I'll do a walk around before we do anything. And we're showing this great roof line, cross laminated timber panel. We've got 2 modules sort of stacked front and back. There's the back of the house. And yeah, sorry, it always takes a little bit for this thing to render, but we'll wait for it if we get a nice view. Yeah, but here we're looking at the rest of town and the back of that house. And of course there was that sort of view we saw there on the catalog, which was a real beaut. Let's let it render. Yeah, and the next thing we're going to do is just flip into the floor plan, because if we look at this floor plan, you're definitely going to get a better perspective of what we're going to look at. So it looks like this floor plan's a little bit flipped around, which we can easily change. Let's just see. Hopefully this is the one. Yeah. Oh. There we go. That's exactly how we're seeing it in the model. So you're coming in this front door. Oh, geez, you know what? Screwed up all of our dimensions. So we're just going to look at it this way, but just imagine it was the other way. You're coming in the front door. You've got a laundry room on the left, as well as a mechanical room. You kind of walk through the living room, and you've got your 2 bedrooms here. Obviously, we could change this configuration if, not walking through the living room was a priority, but it's quite easy to do that, and we would just work through it in the design process. 2 nice bedrooms that are basically the same size, almost 14 feet wide in both directions, and then this single bath with a single vanity. And we could definitely look at revising this to have a double vanity and making more room for this bath if it's a priority. And then a tight little kitchen here with a table, and there you go. So what we'll do is just flip over to the cutaway, and this gives you a much better perspective as well. So coming in that entry door, you've got your laundry, mechanical, living room, dining, with the kitchen right on the one wall, and then of course the 2 bedrooms and the bath. So, very thoughtful little plan, but definitely could be modified. One of the modifications you could definitely make to this is to move this door over here and make this a corner kitchen. Put the living room at the other end, maybe throw in a fireplace. So it is definitely something we would work through in the design process. And if you watched any of our other videos, that's step 1. Figure out what the floor plan is you like, and then we're going to work on modifying it to suit your needs. And then from there, the next discussion starts to be details. So if you're liking this floor plan, and then we make our modifications. Here are some of the details we're going to work on. First detail, energy performance. And the reason why we do energy performance now is because it can affect the outcome of your design in a lot of ways. It affects what bathroom could fit in your house, what the kitchen's going to measure out at, and some of the other things, where the doors go and the windows go. So just so you know, our standard detail for the building envelope looks something like this, which is the drywall, air barrier, 2x6 wall framing. We've got our plywood sheathing, and then of course the R28 Roxol. We've got our wrap, and then a rain screen. So we're doing that on every unit, and it comes out to about 8 inches thick. And so when you're talking about a unit like the one we're looking at, which is only 14 foot wide modules, when we move into the secondary detail, the second option, we're adding another 2 inches. So I'll just take you through that. Drywall, air barrier, 2x6 wall framing, plywood sheathing, Roxol R28, and then we're doing 2 inches of rigid foam. So that foam obviously is adding a great amount of resistance to heat transfer, but at the same time, there's 2 more inches that are sort of coming into the house. So we need to accommodate that in the design, and that's why we need to know early on what you're going to do for energy performance. And then I guess just so you know, still doing rain screen, and then you would put your exterior material out on the outside. So those are the 2 details, but one of the most primary discussions that we're going to have early in your design process. And so when you're working through that as well, we're going to talk about your windows and doors, the mechanical system, whether we need to focus on gas or electric, all of those things that are sort of the engine of the house to make sure that it's going to perform the way you need it to for your location and your expectations. So step 1, floor plan. Step 2, energy performance. Step 3, we're going to move on to kitchens. So I'm going to show you a few different options because depending on what you're going to use this house for, we got different kitchens. So there was a one wall. This wasn't it. This is the smallest one wall available. And, it has I think a 20 or 22 inch sink. We'll just do the measure there. Yeah, so that's just 20 inches. And everything's all on the one wall. Now, just so you know, across all the models and all the different kitchens, we're still offer the same sort of level of finish, as you can see. So, these are the Frigidaire professional appliance line, and through the bigger kitchens, they just, get bigger and more features. And then, of course, we're always with the Blanco Quattros line because we're able to offer a range of sizes of sink. And then you've got your Aquabrass front faucet there. But that's kitchen 1. And then, the one we're showing in the design was this one, kitchen 2, obviously, I think is a 23-inch sink. Yes. And so, a little bit bigger and it's just more spread out. But the bottom line is that what we can do with this is modify it to suit your needs. If you really wanted to, we could expand that unit a bit and then throw in something like a one wall with an island. If you really, really wanted, then we could move into this sort of design with 36-inch appliances and a cooktop, your wall oven and a drop-down microwave door. Of course, we can be looking at this idea of your dishwashers in the island. And we work through that. Additionally, when I was talking about modifying the floor plan, I think that this is also an option where you throw the kitchen right on that wall when you come in, and it's a quarter kitchen, which, you could do something like this, or maybe not something quite this big, but something similar to this. So depending on what you're going to use the home for, and what your expectations are for cooking and everything, we work through customizing your kitchen. And so we've done our energy performance, kitchen, bath, and then what we would move on to next would be closets and millwork. So there's your closet. Typical closet shown in there, 5 foot wide with 8 foot tall sliding doors and a rod and a shelf. That's just the standard sort of detail. And then your option is to do this built-in millwork to match all your kitchen cabinets and bathrooms. And obviously, this is a budget consideration, but it does add a whole other element to your house. It really takes it up a notch. And then it also is very space economical. So, the millwork is built right into the house and matches. So it's quite cool. But again, we got to think through your budget and your priorities, and then we'll get there. So let's just see here. We've worked through the floor plan. You've chosen your energy performance. You've done your kitchen. And I skipped one, but that's okay because we'll just go back to it. Bathrooms. And we're showing this bath in there. I mean, that's just a standard single vanity, Chroma dual flush toilet, got the Aquabrass faucet and sink, beautiful sort of setup with full tile surround. That's one option. Of course, you could go to the second option, which is the full shower instead with the linear drain and everything, but it's really your call. And, depending, we could be looking at, for sure, one thing you might consider is a half bath in there in this unit. If that's a priority for you, we'd have to make some room. And then in a really, really extreme case, if you were a huge fan of really cool bathrooms, of course we could get something like this into the unit, but we'd be really eating up on one of the bedrooms for sure, because it's just sheer size. So nonetheless, it's all about your priority and your budget, and you may want a small house with the most amazing bathroom, and that is completely your call. So we've worked through our floor plan, energy performance, kitchens, baths, closets, and millwork. And then, of course, we would work on your laundry room. I think right now we're showing one of these 2 laundries here. But as you can see, we have a bunch of standard options. And then you could modify those to meet your needs. And after we do your laundry, I'm just going to go back to the model, but we select windows and doors. And windows and doors we sort of have a standard plan here, but sometimes this isn't going to work for a variety of reasons. Maybe we move the kitchen around. Maybe there's different views that you're trying to capture. Maybe there's requirements because you're close to a neighbor. We really won't know until we start working through your design. And that's why it's really crucial as well to have a lot in mind before we start your design. Like, you either have to own it or be about to buy it, because in essence, without that information, we're shooting in the dark when it comes to windows and many of the other features. So during your design, we would work through the windows and doors, and that means the exterior openers, and then as well as the sliding doors. So my computer just decided to save for a second. We're just gonna there we go. We're back in business. But we would work through that element of your design. And then I'm going to take you into a bigger unit to talk about lighting. But the next stage of your design is going to be lighting. And in fact, step 1, there's your outdoor lights. So we would be detailing that. We have a step light option as well available, but this is the Cusco Nordic exterior light. That's a down light, and the beauty of it is that it comes in gray or black, and it's very nice, fits the aesthetic, just awesome. So if I head over to a bigger unit, it just gives us more sort of room to walk around and look, but talk about some of the lighting features we would be detailing. So I'm going to just bust through the wall here, and got lots of lights in here, but essentially same thing. We've got a standard lighting plan for the spring. We would modify it for your requirement, and that is the 6-inch Dell's recessed light throughout. But then we'd be looking at over the island, and big or small, we're showing this Cusco Shoot linear pendant. I believe these are the Cusco Archibald tube pendants, and we've got a flare pendant as well available through Cusco. So we kind of cover the gamut, and different sizes for each of those. And of course, comes down to budget and priority. And then we're showing the Axis fans. So every unit, big and small, is shown with 2 of these in them. And then the other lighting that we'd be talking about is in the bathrooms. So I'm going to go, actually, no, I'm not going in there, but how about this bathroom over here? Hopefully the detailer remembered to throw the lights in this one, but we're going to know right away. So we got a half bath shown in here. And yeah, the lights that you would get in your half bath are shown right in there. So up here is the Cusco Bedford ceiling light, and then a Cusco Vega above mirror light. And yeah, it's just as simple as that. We could just leave it as is, or if you have something custom in mind, we would work through it. But essentially, that's the lighting detail, and then from there we would move on to figuring out your exterior detail and the facades. So just to work through this, we've done our floor plan, we did our energy performance, kitchens, baths, closets, millwork, laundry, windows and doors, lighting, and now exteriors and facades. And really, when we talk about that, it's 2 pieces. So one is the facade here, like what is this roof line going to look like? And then the second thing is, of course, what are the finishing materials we're going to put on the outside? And so for the roof line, we really have 3 kinds of ways we can go. For instance, this building here could be done like this with the cross-laminated timber panel, and it's awesome. It offers this whole coverage and overhangs all around. But, it is a little bit more dollar-wise than some of the other options, and then it, causes a little bit more site work, depending on the way this all comes together. However, there are ways to really bring this panel out. Like you could probably take it out, 15 feet if you wanted it, depending, or even further, but we'd have to just figure out, a bunch of the engineering and that kind of thing. Now I'm going to take you to the Holiday to show you the next kind of roof line. So it actually shows 2 things, which is, we can do this flat roof idea with just like a facade that's just a panel that's suspended by turnbuckles, or and with the Holiday or the Spring that we're looking at, we could do something like this instead of the CLT panel, which is just continuing that roof detail across to create an entry, kind of a covered porch area. Yeah, so in essence, those are actually 3 options. So you've got your cross-laminated timber roof line. Option 2 is a straight flat roof. And then this is the 3rd option, which is extruding part of the roof. And I guess you can do it in a more independent way, which is shown here on the mountain, but just, carry that roof line right out. So as a part of your exterior detailing, we would figure out, what's the roof line you want. So if you see one in Built World that you like that would be more suited to your unit, well, hey, let's talk about it. And finally, we'd be talking about exterior finish. So what we're showing here is a dark gray corrugated metal with 6-inch tongue and groove fir. And of course, when we were looking at the Holiday, an option is to go with the light gray corrugated metal, which we're also offering. So, really similar aesthetic, just lighter. And then, if we go to the mountain again, which we were at, we can see that we can offer an architectural panel, like a Hardy panel, which would be a concrete, just like that, painted light gray or dark gray. And then, of course, we'd be able to also offer you, this idea, what's on the daylight. And that's basically a vertical laid cedar and stained dark gray. And obviously, really cool. But again, with the exteriors, it's all about performance and what you want to do. If you want low maintenance, then corrugated metal is certainly the way to go. But if you like the look of wood, maybe throwing that in as an accent like we did here, or even more of it, is up to you. And of course, it's all budget related as well. This is going to be possibly slightly more money than this type of thing. But of course, I think that's one of the things we're doing for 2020 that's a little bit different than last year, where we were very specific on pricing, is saying to you when you come to us, what is your budget? Because it's going to dictate many of the options that will be available, and it's going to dictate maybe some of the elements of the design that we're able to offer. But if you're clear on the budget, well, it makes it actually quite a bit easier to design your home. And if the sky's the limit, well, we have a lot of great features we can offer you. So beyond that, I'm going to bring this buyer's guide back. We went through all of this. Of course, we would be detailing your floor coverings and the rest, but here's all the models we have available for this year in 9 different sizes. There are variations that we show, and beyond that, like the design process, you have the ability to sort of go through what we just talked about, and then you can break it into 2 components where we've got the idea that we can get to this level where we've got your conceptual design done with all your details picked, and we can give you your pricing. And if you're ready to go, you think, well, okay, this is the house we want to build, then we move into production plans, and they're more detailed. They're like technical drawings. And so, we've broken it into 2 pieces, so you don't have to sort of commit to all of it until you know that you've got your drawing done. And obviously, we work with you to get there. But regardless, you're going to get to see it in 3D on a walkthrough, and we'll develop your specification. Now, of course, every design, we can do this type of thing, and we can take you on a tour. Now, the downside of this new process is that the pricing is not as clear. It really is budget related, and that's why we ask you to come with a budget. Now, on timelines, a house like this is a shorter build. I'm going to say in the range of 3 to 4 months total from the time you say go. Possibly longer, depending if you did some big decks and whatever, those kinds of things. But it's not a huge timeline. And I mean, that's from date of production forward. If, obviously we need to know whether there's room in the facility for you, and then and that all things are going to line up as far as weather is concerned, and the rest, that we can get the foundation in. But you've got this set of parameters, and when you call us for the first time, this is what we're going to talk about. These parameters really identify whether or not you're an ideal customer, or you're ready. So it's hugely important to both of us, and we'd be talking about those items on the first call. So we really appreciate you taking the time. I was able to keep this one a little bit shorter, and that's a tour of the spring. We'd definitely be able to do this for you in person, so we could answer any questions as we go through it. Or if you like, we could do it over the phone with a video presentation. And same thing, like as we're walking through it, you say, hey, stop there. Can I look at this? Can you tell me about these details? We'd be really definitely more than willing to do that for you, because we realize that some of our customers are not close by, but still should get their questions answered. So for more information, come to our website, builtprefab.com, or email us at info@builtprefab.com. Of course, I'm James Rosowsky from Built Prefab, and we're just looking forward to talking to you. If you made it this far, thanks again, and we'll talk to you soon. Have a great day.